Hey guys, so today I have a very special video. I'm going to be sharing two very important rooms to me in my home. And so one is pretty new to me that I have yet to really build out and use. Eventually, more items will come into the room and more supplies will make its way in and become more of an actual craft room. This other room I've used a few times here in the new home, but it's pretty standard in how it's set up. I don't see myself changing too much, maybe getting some additional lighting. But ultimately, these are two spaces that I use to get creative frequently and are essential to me being able to feel like I can create a creative environment here on my platform as well as in my day-to-day life. So without getting too far into this video, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Also, if you have yet to subscribe, please do so now. Hit that red button and make sure you ring the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you haven't checked me out on social media, Instagram is my favorite, but I do have Twitter, I have TikTok, and I also have Facebook if you're interested in checking those out. I also have a website, thekaseyblake.com, where I plan on sharing more about both of these spaces, as well as maybe some more in-depth things on like crafts I'm making, or even blog posts giving away free SVG files or other creative files to use and download for free. So go check that out. I do have 2 PDFs available right now on my website talking about how to build a brand, as well as step-by-step transitioning if you're interested in checking out that workbook. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out my craft room. So just overall, the room has a very simple layout. I've got an ironing table here that's brand new. Unfortunately, it looks a little old, but you know, I haven't used it yet, so she isn't smoothed out. But it's nice to have one of these when you plan on sewing. So I thought it would be worth the investment. Granted, I also don't have an ironing board in general for the house, so this doubles for both, which you guys won't see it, but right behind you is actually my laundry room. So this is actually a perfect spot for it because we can easily use it back and forth between both the bedrooms and the laundry room. So yeah, convenient placing. So over this way, we've got the main space. So ideally, I wanted a table that was longer so that it took up a little bit wider of a space and allowed for more workstation area, but I just couldn't find the right thing. So these desks are from IKEA. I believe they're 47 inches by 29, and I just have 2 of them back to back. If I experience too much shifting with them, I might actually go to Home Depot and purchase little brackets and just place them underneath to connect the 2 tables into one. For now, I kind of like how they're modular and I can move them around, push them up against the bookcases if needed to like put a bed in here for an extra spare room or whatever. So these here are also from IKEA. Most of the stuff in here is from IKEA. In fact, everything in here is from IKEA furniture-wise. So these are just cute little trays. They're pretty affordable carts, and what I'm currently using them for is storing vinyl. I don't have very much vinyl, but you know, when you own Cricut machine, you go through vinyl and other materials. So I plan on stocking this up more. But the cool thing about leaving these top 2 empty is that if I'm sitting here working with a Cricut machine running and it's spitting in and out all this paper and I need to use something else, like let's say even just like quickly grabbing some of the tools to peel off the vinyl and all of that, I can easily place them in here and move them closer to me to be able to not take up the space on my table since it is not as wide as I want. But ultimately, these are just versatile and a great little additive to have in any space, and also lets me load this up and haul it into another room if I want to do something there instead of in here. Up here, I've got 2 pegboards. These are actually from IKEA, and they happen to actually also sell them in white. But unfortunately, when I went, they were all out of the white one. So I settled on the brown. Honestly, I don't hate it. And they're made out of this like plastic material. So if I wanted to, I probably could spray paint them, but not worth a hassle right now, at least. So all these pegs also come from IKEA. I just have a few of my new Cricut items hanging up here, which will eventually be deboxed and no longer be able to fit on here. But you know, it looks pretty for now. So again, panning over to this side, we've got more Cricut stuff, as well as some paintbrushes that I just have collected over the years doing school, as well as a few other items in here, like my paints and my massive 150 Prism colored pencil set, which, as you can tell, has hardly been used. I'm hoping having this room encourages me to do a little more artwork. I tend to stick to the digital stuff, but it's kind of become a little bit anxietal for me. So I think getting into the hands-on type of art might act as a good buffer from the digital stuff. So these chairs are also from IKEA. A great tip that I'm sure all of you know, especially you crafters, is right where you work, keep yourself a trash bin. It will help, especially the vinyl stuff. You just want to get the vinyl out of your workspace so it doesn't stick to anything else, especially the vinyl that you don't want to have messed up. So moving from there, on this wall, you'll see that there's a bunch of drawings. These are things that I did in college while taking Introduction to Drawing 1, if you will. And yeah, these are just a few of them, the ones that I thought were decent enough to put up for this video. They are just taped up right now with some masking tape, but eventually I might throw some push pins in the wall. I just didn't have any on hand. Also on here, you'll see I have two Cricuts. This is the Cricut Explorer and the Cricut Maker. And this one's actually my stepmom's. I ordered the Cricut Maker for Christmas for myself a little early. Christmas came early. And I love it. Honestly, it feels much nicer than the Explorer Air. It also does more, and it doesn't require a cord to be used, which is awesome. And I definitely can see myself using this for many projects, including even things like adding labels to stuff inside of this craft room. So an iPad, great for drawing on. It's currently dead, otherwise I'd show you. But the pen is amazing. I love this thing. I can't believe I lived without one for so long. I'm very glad I invested in an iPad. So heading back over this way, I have these also from college, but from Color Theory. And I tried doing some realism paintings, and I struggled through it. So I stuck to what I'm good at, and Illustrator and digital art tends to be, again, my safe space. So I took that to the canvas, if you will. So yeah, these are just some fun pops of color that I have going on. There's also, on this side, two additional ones. There's a little bit of charcoal over the years, but this color wheel is all hand painted by moi and mixed. I think they're just cool. Maybe I'll frame these. I think that these might actually deserve frames as opposed to just push pins. So coming over this way, you'll see I have a fun pink wall. This is actually one of my brand colors, and it's a bit of a last minute decision to paint it. And I'm so glad I did. It looks completely different during the daytime. So over here, I've got a desk set up that lets me separate from my room where my actual desk is. And this also lets me, again, come into new space to be creative and not be staring at the same setup constantly. So I actually have opened right here, which I love how everything's just like popping up on me. So right now I actually have opened Skillshare's website, and I think this is a perfect break for us to talk about today's sponsor, Skillshare. The first 1,000 to click the link in the description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Skillshare's platform allows you to learn things about graphic design, animation, illustration, music, photography, UX, UI design, web development, business analytics, freelance and entrepreneurship, leadership and management, and marketing. And all of their classes are set up into chunk sizes that allow you to learn with whatever time you have between things. They truly offer education at a reasonable cost. And if you have never touched anything Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Premiere Pro, After Effects, you name it, I definitely recommend you check out their videos and really jumpstart your career. Before we jump into the next room, I just recommend that you guys go check out this Skillshare class. It's Low Budget Filmmaking Tips and Tricks for an Indie Look by Maddie Brown. Okay, now here we go. Second room. This is my studio. So first and foremost, when you're greeted into this room, it's that same pink wall in here, and I have my brand statement written on the wall. Unfortunately, it's not perfect. Like these blocks just don't want to sit right, but everything else looks good. So I might just peel this off and restick something different here. So my mission statement is transgender individuals trust Casey Blake as a trans support and inspiring public figure that pushes normalization because knowledge is the best way to create a safer world. And I did this because every time I come in here, I want to be reminded why I do exactly what I do. And it just, again, puts me, I think, in the right mindset before I come in here to film anything for you guys. So I'm gonna have you guys come on in, and on this first wall here, I want to draw attention to the backdrop. So I have these on this pull rig. I'll leave these down in the description box. I have Amazon links for 90% of the stuff in this room. So this is great because it easily lets you just pull up your backdrop and also pull down. Unfortunately, it looks like she's lost her grip a little bit. So inside of each of these pulls is actually a loop of tape. That's how we've been doing it, to just make sure that it's tight in there so that you don't have to come up here and like manually wind these things up. So I guess we're gonna have a little pop of pink today. And so this wall has been just a great space for me to be able to purchase new paper and just slide it on a metal bar and just go to town on filming. I love the paper because it creates just a simple flat look and doesn't have folds and wrinkles in it like you would get with a green screen or something of that sort. Actually, if you are interested in a green screen, they do sell a green screen paper. So this big one here is, I believe, 107 inches. I'll double check that and leave it in the description box for you guys. But it's big. Make sure you measure the space that you're going to use for filming if you are planning on buying paper. But when you have more than one person on camera, or like to have distance between your subject being either yourself or whatever you're shooting and your backdrop, it helps to have more space, have a wider backdrop. So I recommend the large one. I had a hard time filming, even just as myself, on these, which I believe are like 57, 54 inches. I don't know, I'm guessing. So don't hold me on those. So as we move forward from here, I have my sitting bench, which I got from a local furnisher. This, I believe, is from an Ashley's line. And I just wanted something wide enough for two people to sit on. It was so important to me that I could have a friend over and be doing makeup with them and it not be too small for us both to sit on where we're bumping elbows. So as we move around here, I have this table, which is the exact same table that I had in the other room, except this one is smaller. I don't know what the width is. I think it's like 38, 40 inches. And then this mirror is also from IKEA. And I just wanted something that's low so that when I'm shooting, the camera doesn't capture this in the shot, but it's also large enough for me to see myself in. And I've been looking for this mirror for a minute. They've been out of stock the last few times I've been there. I'm very pleased to have this, and I actually really like it. This will probably move into my vanity during non-filming times just to have a closer mirror. And I don't like magnified mirrors, so this is perfect for me. So this guy over here, actually, will you go flip the first switch? You can film yourself doing it.
Where is it? Oh.
So this is my custom made neon sign. I got it from a local shop here in Phoenix, and I love it. Just having my name in neon lights and my logo done was like something that I'd imagined years ago and never thought I would be able to make possible until this year. So on top of here, I've got two different speakers. I have a Beats Pill, which I've had forever, and a Google Home. I love these things to set timers, reminders, and also just overall to have music playing when I just can't be bothered to be searching on my phone. I can just tell Google to do its thing, and it does. So down here is where I keep the magic. So inside of this left side, I currently have all my gizmos and gadgets of plenty. This is my DJI Osmo. This poor thing has only been used like 4 times, and it was super expensive, and I really should force myself to use it more. But they have like 2 new generations that have come out since this, but that doesn't mean this doesn't work. I should definitely give this a whirl again. So in here, just some accessories I have for this, as well as 2 of my older point and shoot cameras, which I don't use anymore, but it's nice to have them on hand. So down here, I have this cheesy Pokemon ball that was actually a gift from a friend for my birthday last year, and a few extra chargers. These are actually for the DJI, and what I like to do is after they're done charging, I like to set them down inside of this cabinet so I know before I go to film anything that I'm taking a fresh battery that's ready to go. So back here I actually have this really cool Belkin power strip, and it has 4 slots on the front of it as well as 4 slots on the top, which was like magic. I put it in here and I started clipping in my battery packs, and they fit perfectly side by side. You do not normally get this much real estate of plugs to work with inside of a traditional power strip. If I can find this on Amazon, I will link it in the description because this is a really cool hack to be able to utilize more plugs. So yeah, power bank down here to help when I want to go on the go and have my phone with me, and have a USB port to plug into. So yeah, that's this side. Now this other side is not as fascinating, but nonetheless, I've got extra SD cards in here. And what I like to do is after I'm done filming something, I put a Post-it note around my SD card, and I actually write little messages on here just to understand exactly what I filmed on each one. So like, let's say I'm crazy, okay? I've lost files before, so I keep like 3 copies. So what I do is I keep the one that's on the SD card while I'm still editing the content. And then after it's been published, I feel okay to erase this after it's been moved onto an online drive onto the cloud, and after it's, again, already on YouTube. So I have a few in here right now that have a bunch of stuff on them. You can see the yellow ones. And then the empties get thrown into the bottom of the bin. And this bin was just from an organizer that I had from probably 7th, 8th grade. It's just been around for a long time. It's made it from drawer to drawer. Also, a very essential part to any lone wolf content creator, this is a pointer which allows you to just click and shoot either photos or video on a DSLR camera. But these aren't needed with a lot of the new ones. A lot of them have apps that you can just pull open on your phone. Actually, both of my cameras now do. But sometimes it's nice to not need to hook up phone, Bluetooth, all of that, and just go point, shoot. There you go. I also keep these quick access little tripod mounts just right here. I also normally keep the camera that's there and the camera that's here always right here on top, so I know exactly where they are at all times, always with the caps on. Again, we're just currently filming. So these tend to actually stay on the cameras so that I can just clip them into my tripods, which we'll get to in a second. I also have extra microphones in here, and this little guy. This is actually one of my best friends in the studio having this tape. This is called gaffer's tape. If you've never heard of this before, I definitely recommend you check it out. It's great for taping stuff to the walls. So I actually used to put up either of these, the big one or the small one, upside down. So I'd leave the roll on the floor and pull the paper up and use this to tape it to the wall. And that acts as a temporary a background stand or tripod, if you want to call it. And this stuff is like $25 a roll, and it's like massive. We're talking, this thing is beefy. So I'll leave this down in the description box below. It doesn't ruin your walls. It doesn't tear off paint. So if you can't afford a whole rig for your backdrop, this works. Trust me, I use this for years. I only got this other backdrop like a year and a half ago. I swear it will last on your walls for like, I would say 6 months, depending on how big of strips you use. This stuff isn't coming down anytime soon, but it will come off whenever you want it to. It doesn't ruin the walls again. So over here is more hard drives. Again, I have issues with these. I've lost stuff with hard drives, so I try to avoid them. But I do have a few old videos that I don't really care about keeping, but I have the native files in case the day comes. Down here, I have some carrying cases that came with my camera and my tripods in case I need to go on the go. But that's about it. I love this thing. This cabinet was from IKEA a few years ago. They still sell them. They're the Bista system. And I personally prefer this setup over open shelving. I like things to be closed and tucked away where you can't see them. But again, you do you. Over here, I have this light, which I just looked into. There's 2 of these in the set, and they are from a company called Limo Studio. And I bought these ones like 7 years ago, I want to say, and they're still going strong. I actually just broke the light bulb in one of them. This one's also pretty old. I got this on my 16th birthday as a gift. This is the Diva Ring Light Nova. Again, looking into light, don't do that. Do as I say, not as I do. This light is a bit yellow. If I had a choice to change it, I would definitely purchase one with a bit of a cooler tone than the warm tone. But it's nice. I make it work by having more cool tone lights surrounding it. So this is one of the tripods I'm using right now. I have had a few of these break on me in the past, but this one's holding up. It really is. So I guess if I had to recommend one, I would recommend this as a starter one. This is the Sunpack Ultra 6000 PG. So there's that. Now, my favorite thing in this little lineup has to be this light right here. This light is I don't know if this is the name, a ProMaster Cool Light 3-in-1. That's what they call it. So this light has 4 light bulbs inside of it, which means it produces more light than any other studio light that I have in here. And it's hexagonal shape, which means it gives more, the direction that the light is being sent is a little wider than the other ones. So, and again, since it's brighter, it casts a better light, which is softer, it diffuses. I always keep this in front of me, but I tend to have that square one, and the second one is actually normally placed about right here, facing towards the backdrop. So this actually diffuses shadows. This softens the front of the face. That one fills the face, a circular one. And then this one also acts as a fill light, but also evens out the background a little bit more. If I had a little bit more space, I'd probably push this light even forward more and have both of them silhouetting the backdrop here. So that's how I have it set up right now. Lighting wise, I do have an extra dining chair in this room right now. I don't need it in my dining room. And it's nice to sometimes have a seat for me to sit at while I'm interviewing people, or if I want to have someone else in the room while I'm filming. I do want to buy a more pretty chair for in here, but this will do for now. I do have this stool in here that I purchased for a photo shoot at Goodwill. It's a little rickety, but it works great if I want to put a monitor down to use, or to use as a cup holder to hold an extra glass while someone or myself is sitting here. So, safety tip. Down here, I have these bags. I think they're called sandbags. And they hold currently rocks and dirt that I just literally picked up from the side of the road one day on a shoot. And I have no need to change it. I don't mind what's in it. But you can buy sand to put in it or go get sand. And this just helps so that when people are walking around it, this thing doesn't want to topple over, because they tend to be kind of top heavy. And when you're on carpet, like we are in here, it's easier to push them over. That's how I broke my other light that normally is where you are. So if we come over this way, you'll see that back here I have a whiteboard. This is like a 4x5, 4x6, 5x6, I don't know. math, dimensions, measurements, feet, inches, centimeters, you know, silly US metric system. Get it together. The rest of the world has it together. So anyways, I bought this secondhand from my aunt's company. They were downsizing. So I got this from her. In the move, it got a few scratches, but it still works. And I actually love this. I come in here normally every Friday and I write a weekend. I literally do this. I should actually do this. Weekend to do list. And I create a whole list of check-offable items. And it just helps me when I'm like either feeling like I'm getting distracted or I have a very busy weekend ahead of me. I know what items that I want to personally get done. That way, again, I know what I got done from my to-do list, but I also add in things that weren't on the to-do list that I end up doing to show to myself that I did get a lot done. It's just if something didn't get done here, there maybe was these other 10 things I did in its spot. Just to remind myself that I'm not being lazy, even though that one thing that might have seemed important at the beginning of the weekend didn't get done because 10 other items needed to get done as well. So yeah, this is a good tip. I also like brainstorming, so great brainstorming station. And yeah, right now it's clean, but normally she's not. So that's about this room. I also have these beautiful stripes on here that represent the trans flag as well as my brand colors. And these are actually the same stripes that I use on my website for my main header image right now, and also on all my social platforms, and my nails match. So yeah, this is a fun little add-in. I did these with the pink walls. So I'm still getting used to this, but I think it's a fun thing to have when guests come over. They get a sneak peek into my world and it looks a little fancy. So not hard to do. Green tape masking these off and paint. Just some good old Behr's paint. So I think that's about my room. I think I'm going to turn around real quick so we can do the outro with good lighting. Right here. I'm like, you stand here. I'm like, I figured I might as well utilize the good space. There is not a latch thing on it, so you're just gonna have to hold it.
No, it's cool. I'm just gonna.
Okay, guys, so that was the craft and studio tours. What do we think of my creative spaces? Are you guys jealous? Are you not? Do you think I could have done this better? Well, this is just what I currently have. Nothing was really specifically purchased for this space. In general, all these were items that I had in the previous home, other than some of the IKEA furniture in the craft room. That is new. But without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you have not checked out the sponsor of today's video, please do so. My social platforms are linked down below, as well as seen on screen, the Casey Blake, on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and the infamous Facebook. So if you want to check those out, please do so now. And finally, if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit the red button and ring the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. Be safe. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. I do have an extra dining chair